right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Sunday webinars, where I go over top-down analysis of 5 stocks. Can't see my face because my freaking webcam isn't working, but we move. See if I can get this correctly. So what I like to do is I like to go to price change, and see the top 5 most moving stocks. We have Tesla, but I don't trade Tesla, so I'll take that all the way to the bottom, mostly because the contracts are really expensive. So we're going to look over Microsoft, Planeteer, Meta, Amazon, and QQQ. I'm going to put QQ on the top because that's mostly what I trade. I really just am going over this because it really does help with knowing just the market trends, just to keep up with the market. So actually, before I do that, I'm going to look to see what we have in the markets for next week. What I like to do is go from Saturday to Sunday for the upcoming week. We have PMI on Monday. Then we have more red folder news throughout the week, but only at 9 a.m., 7:30, 9 a.m. Okay, not too bad. So we don't have too much news for the upcoming week. Now, so for the top-down analysis, it's really just important to start from the highest time frame, going down to the lower, just so you can get a gauge of the market trends and see what's going on. Let me actually go to this one. I'm going to have my settings on my usual, and then I'm just going to do my top-down analysis. So let me start. Okay, let me start from the weekly and do a replay of the previous week, so we can see how the top-down analysis may have played into that. So I'm going to go to select bar. So what I'm going to do is literally do the top-down analysis, start from the bottom all the way to the top. I use the ray tool, which is going to pick up each one. So what you're doing is you want to make sure that you are having point A's and point B's. Oh, it actually goes further up. Okay. Oh, come on. So many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So many touch points. A point right here. Point A to point B. You see there's a lot of lines, a lot of trend lines to the upside. So right off the bat, we can already tell that QQQ is on an uptrend. You just adjust your trend line like so. You go down to the 4-hour. Adjust the trend line again like so. And now we begin to see just a slight downtrend. So we can draw that line. Point A to point B. A lot of touch points, but one line. A lot of touch points here. Let's see if we need to. Point A up to here as well. 15-minute. I think, as you can see, price has hit the last touch point up to the bottom, and can also do this touch point down here. So I think this is close enough. This is close enough. Okay. And when you go down to the 1 minute, let's say I trade the 1 minute, and obviously I would, because the market is in an uptrend, I would be inclined to look for calls at any point, but you can still trade when price is, sorry, I'm cleaning this up. You can still trade when price is, you can still trade in the opposite direction. So for in this moment, if we're just going strictly based off top down analysis, you know, just see how the market moved for that whole week. Well, let's see for that day period. Now, a reason why you may not have wanted to take, a reason why a lot of people may want to take puts in this section here is because it breaks the line. But because price is already in an uptrend, you would only be looking for movements to the upside. So let's say you're looking for movements to the upside and you're still in this trend line. You could have easily taken calls here because you know that the market movement is bullish. So let's say you wanted to take calls from this point here, you could have easily taken uh, calls. Let's say, yeah, you could have easily taken calls for a dollar move from the downside to the up, especially off this bounce, because you know that price is in an uptrend. Okay. But a lot of people might be inclined to take uh, puts from here to the downside because they believe that price is going to break. But because the overall market trend from the beginning is bullish, you don't want to really trade against the market. So that could just be one way how top-down analysis can really help improve your trading style. So let's go on to the 15-minute again and see what it's like when price began to move for that week up until the next day. Let's see here. So let's say now for the next day, you're redoing your lines. You're just you're moving with the market. You're still hoping for calls because the market is an overall uptrend. And let's say market moved. What is this? The 30th. And let's say I want to get in for a move, and I'd be inclined to take puts here. So because market is already in an uptrend and it's already approaching all-time highs, I wouldn't even want to trade because it's almost, I would not like I wouldn't want to trade, but I would wait to see if there's a signal to the upside because the overall trend of the market is bullish. But if you continue here, you can also see again that that price faked out below this trend line because the overall movement of the market is to the upside. So you could have easily taken maybe this bounce when price moves back up into this trend space. You could have taken calls to the upside as well. This is definitely an area of support. But again, you see how price just sort of this is a liquidated moment. This is like liquid right here. This is liquidity in this moment. Or you can call it support. But because, like, again, I'm going to say this over and over again, but because price, and that's what I'm learning that I have to trade with the market and look for opportunities to trade with the market because although, yes, you could I trade my price targets. Let's say one day I decide to trade a different way if I don't find anything, or anything actually. It could just be the confluences that are adding to my price targets. I shouldn't want to be faked out. I was faked out here because I traded this day, I believe, and I'm pretty sure I was faked out. And this I was not trading with the market trend. The market trend is clearly bullish, and the opportunities that you find are going to be areas of liquidity or bounces off a trend line or a fake out. And this I could have easily taken a trade at this zone here to take profit up to the upside with whatever price targets I may have had at the moment. But you can definitely see how this down area is an area of liquidity. Now I'm gonna go to the 15-minute again. I'm really just reviewing the week so that we can see how top-down analysis can definitely help with, your trading with the trend and how it supports trading with the trend. Okay, so here again, you can move your lines, keep your up. So I would love to. I mean, I don't remember if there was news this day or something, but obviously it's New Year's Day. It's New Year's Eve, and if you want to see how to trade, the market is still bullish. So if anything, looking at market structure, should be looking for calls unless price decides to break structure or change character. So see, even if you wanted to take puts, it's very low volume. There's not really a lot of movement. There's no trend. There's no clear trend. And this wouldn't have been a great day to trade to calls anyways because it was New Year's Eve. But so in this moment, what I would say is because price did break the trend line and decided to go down, you would now create a new downtrend. Let's see if it created a new downtrend. This could show either market structure, a break of structure, or a change in character. Because we see that in this moment, market was having lower lows. This is when the market started to have lower lows. Here, we're beginning to draw more trend lines to the downside and clearing the trend lines to the upside. So just like in this moment here, and here as well, even if I were to look for calls to the upside, we can see that price wicked at this trend line and is now going down, and it filled this gap. And I'm pretty sure for the rest of the day, price went all the way down. So this could be a signal of a change of character to the downside. We are seeing a shift because we're beginning to see lower lows. We're beginning to see lower lows here, lower lows here, lower lows here. So we can begin to move these trend lines and get rid of some of the bullish trend lines. This could really signal a change in character to the downside. Price could be moving in the opposite direction. So if anything, as we're seeing currently, we are seeing a possible change in character to the downside. So I would look for puts below the 610 area and not necessarily look for calls anymore because there isn't really any trend lines to show that price is going in an uptrend. Price is still going in a downtrend. There is still a break of structure here. There's still a lower low here. Yeah, there's still a lower low over in this zone and a lower low in this zone. Yeah, you can tell price is going down. So if anything, I'd be looking for puts. That's if price will continue to show downtrend lines. So yeah, so for QQQ, it just looks like the market is changing character a bit to the downside. If price can go above this zone, then I look for calls. But obviously, since I trade in the 1 minute and I trade price targets, I would have to, during market open, I would have to chart that 1 minute zone to see where price really is continuously heading into. But yeah, let's move on to Microsoft. So for Microsoft, do the same top-down analysis, go down to the monthly. And because it shot up so much in the past year, this is actually not too bad. I don't mind starting from here. Actually, I don't mind starting from here. Oh, no other points. Go down to the weekly, daily. I don't know. These prices are looking a little iffy. Looking just a tad bit iffy. There is a downtrend. Looks like price is currently in a downtrend. There's a wee bit support right here. Let's go to the 4 hour. So it looks like price might break a zone right here. This is a very interesting zone. Can mark this area. If price can break below this 464.91, then definitely puts to the downside. It would confirm the change in character. If we go to PLTR, do the same thing. We'll do monthly. Dang, PLTR. It grew from, can start at this zone over here. Oh Lord, that's not even a good zone to start off with. But let me start from this zone to this zone. Move on to the weekly. Into the daily, 4 hour. Is there a slight downtrend? There is one starting at this point. This point. Nice 3 touch points. Let's move down to the 1 hour. There is some movement to the downside still. I could generously put a line from here to here. Let's move down to the 15-minute. So it looks like price is headed to the downside. It's giving change of character and a continuous break of structure. Price might be trending to the downside. We'll move on to the 5-minute. Yeah, it looks like price is overall bearish. No, price is technically overall bullish, but it looks like price is currently bearish. And if price can continue to break this point and have volume to the downside, you'd want to put puts below 166 and possible if price can break. I don't know. I don't think, well, not think, but if price can continuously create higher highs and pass 183, then you'd be interested for calls. Let's look at Meta. Let's do weekly and start from weekly because I think monthly is a bit of a stretch, especially when it comes to options. Let me unfavorite that. Yeah, I think monthly is a bit of a stretch. So we're going to start from this low because it is pretty steep. It is pretty steep. Looks like there's a little bit of a downtrend as well. We can see that price was continuously making higher highs on the higher time frame. Go to the daily. We see that price is beginning to make lower lows. So it looks like price is currently trending in a lower market, bearish market, if you will. Currently, though, not overall. Overall, it's bullish, but currently it is bearish. Move on to the 4-hour. See if I can fix this up from this point A to this point B. Price is pretty even with those trend lines almost. But I believe it's pretty obvious that price is in a bearish trend. So if anything, there's also, this looks like a pretty nice beam of support. So if price can have high volume, or if price can push below 637.63, definitely would be looking for puts to the downside. Not really interested in calls, but if price does happen to have a higher high above this zone, definitely looking for calls. If price can push above 687.76, and I'd be interested in calls. And for the last one, we have Amazon. I'm going to start from the weekly. Let's look at how Amazon is. Amazon's pretty choppy. It's pretty choppy at the moment, but let's see how it is behaving. Overall, it is in an uptrend. Overall, it's in an uptrend. All time, it's in an uptrend, like almost every stock. But it looks like price is beginning, as it was approaching all-time highs, it's consolidating in this zone here. So you have these important areas for it to break structure in order for it to be considered a complete downtrend or bearish movement. But it does look like there is some bearish movement to the downside, not aggressively, but just enough to notice. But price is currently ranging. I wouldn't trade in this market, but I am just marking it up. There's not enough. Well, let's see the hourly. And it's consolidating a bit too much in this range. So actually, I wouldn't even want to chart this. I'm not charting it because it's in a range, and nobody wants to trade within a range, especially if the market isn't like going up and down and up and down. So yeah, see how these markets are up and down. It's actually spread a little bit. I feel with Amazon, it's a bit too consolidated. Looks like it's just trending between, and if anything, it's trending here. between 239 and 220, which can still get you something, to be honest. But you know what? Yeah, let's just mark it up. Let's just mark it up from the daily. Let's just go back and mark it from the daily. It just looks so choppy. It looks very choppy compared to the other stocks. So let's see. But there are a lot of touch points, in this bullish trend. So I can't give a definitive trend. Like there's no like active definitive trend I'm noticing because price is just moving really choppy. I don't think I even trade Amazon. I don't think I've ever traded Amazon, but apparently it moved the most in that zone. So, oh wait, am I still? Let me exit the replay, child. Okay. I don't know. I was still in the replay the whole time. Go down to the 1 hour. Still the same thing. 15-minute. Not really much to look at. Not as much. Not really interested, to be honest. I'm not interested in Amazon. It's still consolidating, hence the only two trend lines here, and it did this big push to the downside. So, and it still didn't let the market trend. So yeah, that's it for the. Oh gosh, I wish this would look better. Oh yeah, let me move these out the way. So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, that's it for QQQ. We did one for QQQ. Microsoft. Let's put that up here. Planeteer. It's just overview. This is just an overview of all of them. And Meta. I'm not interested in the rest. I usually just trade QQQ, but it's interesting to, obviously, it's good to see the market movers under QQQ. That way I can gauge the market movement of QQQ. But overall, I'm seeing with QQQ as we approach those all-time highs, we are becoming to have lower lows. We have a lower low here. What happened to that other tool? Hold on, give me a minute. There's another tool. Yeah, the horizontal ray. Beginning to see, lower low here. Oop. Okay. Getting to see a lower low here. Another lower low here. A lower low here. And another lower low here on the hourly. But we do see that the market was in overall bullish trend, but it is now beginning to look like it's in a downtrend. If price can continue to break this level, and this level, we would know that there is clear market structure happening, or a break of structure happening, and there is a clear trend to the downside. So yeah, if price can go below here, I'd love to go in puts. If price can go above here, I'd love to go in calls. But I do trend on the 1 minute time frame, so everything is just to take all of these just into account. This top-down analysis is just to add to your confluences so that you know the market trend, so you're not surprised when market flips on you or flips out a trend line or support or resistance.